What would I be doing if I had 6 months to live? I recently had a lesion on my nose where I had to go to a dermatologist and, have him check it out. And it really got me thinking, what would I do with my life if I only had 6 months to live? Listen in for more.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Misha Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
Yeah, so I discovered this lesion on my nose, ignored it for a little bit, and finally was like, this thing's not healing or going away. And it was there for a bit. I'll tell you the story in a second. But suffice it to say, I finally was able to, I'm fairly healthy. I so rarely need to go to the doctor. And I've been blessed with some great genetics, and I eat healthy and walk a lot and do yoga, all this kind of stuff, and meditation, and I also have a rich spiritual life. I have tons of ways to be of service where I'm trying to be of service, without any compensation in return. And I believe personally that all these things add to a good, rich, healthy life. Like if you're, dealing with your emotions in a healthy way, if you're eating healthily, and progress, not perfection, I'll say that as well. But I found that trying to be of service, like praying to my God, how can I be of service? It's very powerful, and I've been in the recovery community for decades now, so I have tons of opportunities to be of service in the recovery community, through literally showing up and volunteering at places and all kinds of things. And I just would encourage you to do the same. Find a community where there's a need, where you can be of service, and it can be very powerful. Boy, I digressed already. Just to say, hey, I've got good genetics, I'm fairly healthy. And anyway, when I have to confront the healthcare system, it's very unnerving to me because I'm so rarely engaged with it, other than when it's the emergency room because I need another set of stitches from some surfing accident, mountain biking accident, whatever, or almost broken bone. I think it's been a bit since I've broken a bone, but anyway, I had to confront the healthcare system and try and get appointments and figure out who is my doctor and all this kind of stuff. Just like I probably do biannual or every 3 years we'll go in for a physical or blood work or something. It seems like whenever I have like this lesion thing, I get an opportunity for the full round of blood work. But anyway, my mind could start to crank away. And as I'm trying to get appointments set, and I'm having phone calls with, what do they call them, like the nurse on calls, there's a term for it, and they're just giving you just enough information to scare you, but not getting your appointment set up nearly as fast as I wanted, getting my appointment set up nearly as fast as I wanted. Oh my gosh, so the mind could start cranking, and I'm pretty good, honestly, about staying in the moment and trusting in God and just praying it out and being okay with coming to terms with life on life's terms, And Boy, I don't mean to go dark on you, but we are all gonna die. You know that. And a lot of the Hindu practitioners, Eastern meditational practitioners, Eastern philosophies literally encourage you to visualize your own funeral, like you're in your casket, and your body's deteriorating, or what's that, when it goes back into the earth. Man, I'm forgetting all these terms. I'm seeing that. And I just, which leads me to, oh my gosh, just side note, I'm sorry. The interview with Lisa Randall, I think it's an old podcast episode. Just when you're searching my podcast episodes, search for the Lisa Randall interview. And she basically said, hey, the reality is we forget stuff all the time. We always have been. And that in reality, most of us aren't forgetting any more than we ever were as we get older. It's just that it freaks us out more because there's such a spotlight on it. And she also said, hey, what's interesting about that is the more you stress about what you forget that's normal, the more it creates a stress loop in your body and actually can increase the acceleration. Like, stress is not good for you, in effect. So, anyhow, take a listen to that episode. It's super fun. She's a genius. Yeah, so I was like, interesting. If I were to actually have like serious cancer on my nose, that that there's a couple of implications of that. There's my attachment to my physical looks. I was like, I need to be prepared to let go of my physical attachment to how I look, right? And I was like, man, I still have a lot of attachment to that. I do. I'll say this as non-egoically as I can. People will say, oh, you're so handsome, or whatever, or la la la. And so, which is, hey, it's gratifying. But I was like, man, like what, I'm just being real with you here, people. I'm just being real with you here. But I was like, man, I do have more attachment to my physical appearance than I would care to admit. And then also I was like, well, the other implication is, like, cancer can kill you in 6 months. So, perhaps contemplate, should I, am I doing what I would do? And it was such a great exercise, and I would encourage you to do the same. And so I was thinking about it. I put some thought into it, because at my nice age, as I record this, at 54 years old, I have some resources, a little bit of savings, I've got credit lines. I actually just, credit cards. I shouldn't say credit lines. That's a gross exaggeration, but, I've got access to capital. How's that? Sell my house, for example. Sell your house and travel the world. Like, I could do that. I could be like, I've got 6 months to live. Should I be traveling the world? Morning. There's a lot of things. You might be in a job that you hate. Or you might be in a relationship where you need to man up and do some serious work, or woman up and do some serious work and make that relationship as good as it can be because you've only got 6 months to live. And let me tell you, leaving your relationship and going to another one is not the solution. Right? Then you're just going to be, well, whatever, my own opinion. Yeah, that's it. I've only got 6 months to live. I'm leaving my relationships and going to find new ones, or I'm going to go find the person of my dreams. Maybe though, maybe so. Maybe that's it for you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to project. But anyway, I was thinking more about I guess I was thinking relationships too. I was like, would I be dating more? Would I be on the dating apps? Would I be, because I'm not on the dating apps, I'm not dating. I'm currently in a non-dating phase, which has been very fruitful for me. I've been filling that God-sized hole with God. But I was thinking about, I have a great life, and I'm doing a lot of fun things, and I've had a ton of great adventures in my life, where I've got to travel around a bit to exotic islands and surf, or go to foreign countries, or ski tall mountains, or do yoga in what's that country called? India. I've had rich relationships, had a wife, had the rebound heartbreak relationship. I've had success at a career and failures. So at 54, as I was reflecting, I was like, you know what? I'd keep doing what I'm doing. I'd just keep tinkering with my little business, trying to grow it into something big, trying to figure out how to put myself out there healthily with non-attachment. I would continue to be of service the way I'm of service in the recovery community, as I mentor guys or have opportunities to share or speak about it to groups, and I do continue to have the interactions I'm having with my kids. Definitely Cooper, I would have more breakfasts with him. I see Waylon a ton. He still lives with me half time. But Coops, the Coopinator, who's 22, as I'm talking about this right now, I could perhaps have an additional breakfast with young Cooper every couple weeks if he wanted. That's the other part of the story. Give him the opportunity, because maybe he's happy and doesn't need to spend time. Anyway, sorry, it's a funny episode. But I was like, I'm really happy, tinkering and building and trying and testing and getting going on these trips to get customer testimonials for people and interviewing people and podcasting and doing all this stuff. And so I wouldn't change much. I'll tell you what I would change, and which came to me and is even being more amplified as I'm recording this episode right now, is I would put more offers out there faster. Throw these ideas out there, test and try them, and see if they're viable. I spend so much time in my head trying to get this stuff perfect, and a lot of it just goes nowhere. Or it takes me a long time to present my idea to the market on a broader scale. I will say one thing I'm really good at is talking about it at networking events. I have great success talking about my ideas at those events, but once I get confirmation, getting that out to a broader market, that is a weak point of mine right now. So if I had 6 months to live, I would probably barf out offers to the broader market much quicker. That's what I'd do. Be like, let's see what the answer is. Anyway, other than that, you probably want to know. Anyway, I'll just cut to the chase. I went through the whole system. They burnt the lesion off my nose with this cream that I got, where I had to put cream on my nose every morning and night, and it literally burns. It's like when women go and get those deep facial burns. What they call it, like facial scraping or something like that, where it like fried my nose, and it's not pretty. So I got to have the experience of letting go of attachment on the way I looked for a few weeks, actually longer than a few weeks, because there was the 2 weeks as I'm burning it off, and then I started wearing some Band-Aids because it gets not pretty, and it was more of put a Band-Aid on there so people wouldn't have to see my fried and blistered nose. It's way too much information for you, perhaps. But then also, once it started healing, it was very pink and noticeably a different shade of color than the rest of my face. And you know what? I graciously and gratefully was like, this is all part of the process, and what an opportunity for me to let go and just humbly have my 4 layers of skin of my nose peeled off in public. Anyway, but it's all good. I'll cut to the chase. I had no cancer, and the nose is nice and shiny and new, and the lesion is gone, and I'll save the story of the 2-year process to finally make it to the doctor to get it checked out on. But just know that all is good. And I'll ask you again, and send me an email or shoot me a text. What would you do if you only had 6 months to live? Would you make wholesale changes to what you're doing, how you're living? Or would you do micro adjustments? Or would you just keep moving forward as you are now? Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.